Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a full face routine using the look I have now. So I hope you guys enjoy and we'll get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is moisturize. I'm going to use this Clinical Care Conquers It. It's for oil controlling. I have super oily skin. So I'm just going to put this all over. I got this at State Beauty Supply, but I think you can order it from their website, but it's really expensive. It's like almost $70. I think last time I looked, I paid $25 for that little jar. But I'm just gonna rub this in. I really like this moisturizer because it's not super thick and it doesn't leave like a really heavy feeling on your skin. It's really light and absorbs and it feels like you have nothing on your skin. So that's really good because I'm about to put a lot of stuff on my face. So after moisturizing, I will go in with this POREfessional Matte Rescue. It also is just another oil controlling product, and it also says it's mattifying. Well, I guess that'd be oil controlling, and pore blurring. So hey, all the extra help I can get, right? Oh, I have such crappy skin. I don't know why. I used to have really good skin when I was younger, when I was a teenager, but now that I'm older, it's just gone to hell. So after I put that on, I will go in with this Maybelline Pure BB Dream. It's really sheer. It's not super thick. The coverage isn't really good either. I really like it though because it has the acne ingredient in it. So since I have really acne prone skin, it's nice to have something on your face that's helping you. So after that, I'm going to use this by Benefit, the POREfessional License to Blot. I'm going to put this in all the places that I get extremely oily. It's like a stick. It kind of reminds me of chapstick, but it's like kind of waxy, but doesn't leave a film on your face or anything. I talked about it in my first video I made. So I'll just put it around my nose and in my temples, and I'll actually run it through my eyebrows because I get really oily up here too. Yay me. And I'll just slightly put it wherever I get extremely oily. This will really help because I don't like shiny eyebrows, which apparently, according to Smashbox, that's going to be a new trend. So how about that? So I will just put this on, and then I will use my primer, which I'm going to use the POREfessional primer. I used to have a big one of these, but I ran out, and then I wasn't sure if I liked it because I went through a struggle where my foundation was breaking up before the end of the day, and I thought it was just my foundation, so I kept trying new ones. And then come to find out that there's actually science behind all of this. You need to match the base of your primer to the base of your foundation. So after I put primer on, I'm going to go in with the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shades yellow, orange, and green. I have a lot of redness on my face. I just went through a really bad breakout. I don't know why, but I'm just going to dot it on my face wherever there's redness, and my forehead right here around my hairline is especially red because I used to have a lot of baby hairs, and then about 3 years ago I got the really bright idea of, oh, well, I'll just shave them off and get rid of them, whatever. That was the worst idea I've ever had in my life because I am extremely OCD and I cannot stand stubble. Seriously, I shave my legs every day, even in the winter. I don't care. I have to shave them every day. I cannot stand stubble. So shaving your forehead, oh my god, I was seriously the stupidest thing I've ever done. So that's why my forehead is extremely red and bumpy and gross, because this is actually part of my scalp. So I wouldn't advise it no matter how much you hate your baby hairs, because my makeup will not apply right up here on my forehead. It's just a really bad ordeal. But I really love these color correctors because, one, they're really cheap. I got all 3 colors in a little package from Amazon, and it was like $8. They blend out really easily. As you can tell, I don't normally use my fingers. I normally use my beauty blender. But you don't have to like completely make the color go away. Like, it's okay if you have like a green tint and look like the Hulk for a minute, because your foundation's going to cover it. So I use all 3 colors. I actually use the orange under my eyes, and I'm going to look really crazy when I do this because, well, it's orange. But this really helps. Like, I don't feel like I have extremely dark circles or anything, but it's my skin under my eyes is really dull. It always has been, and concealer alone just doesn't cut it, even combined with foundation. So I like to use this orange, and it's easier if you blend it out with your finger first and then go back and finish with the Beauty Blender. I feel like the Beauty Blender picks up a lot of the product, so essentially kind of waste it. In some cases that can be really helpful to pick up excess product, but that's not always what I want. So for now I'm going to use my finger, and then I'll go back in just a minute with a Beauty Blender. But I feel like this really has helped me as far as the dullness under my eyes. This will work great for anyone that actually has dark circles that they just cannot get to cover. To balance it out, because it is super orange, I'm going to go back in with the yellow and just slightly put it over. Like so. And then I will just blot it on. So now that I look like a raccoon, I will go ahead and put on my foundation. I have been using the Infallible Pro Matte. I really like it. This will be my 3rd day wearing it, so I'm just going to put it on with this little brush. I think it came out of one of my Urban Decay palettes. Looks like the Naked 2 brush. I'm just going to use that to like put it on my face. And then I will go back in with a brush and my Beauty Blender. So this shade looks really dark on my face, but that's because I am tan. I look washed out right now because my face is so pale, but I am tan, but I do tan with my makeup on, which has sunscreen in it. So my face is still really white. I occasionally tan without sunscreen on, but you know, I don't want to get wrinkles, so I don't do it every time. I know tanning's bad for you, but I don't look good pale. So I'm just going to put this on my face. It's kind of thicker than I like to have in a foundation, but it stays all day. Like, I've had this problem with my face. Like, the makeup just kind of bunches on my skin. So I went through this whole ordeal of, I need to find a new foundation because mine sucks, but it actually wasn't even the foundation. It was a matter of finding a primer and foundation that have the same base. Like, you know, some are oil, some are water, and some are silicone. So this is a silicone-based foundation. You can tell by the ingredients on the back. And if you're not sure, then you could always just Google blah 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 ingredients, and if it says silicone or siloxane or anything like that, then it's most likely a silicone based, and always the first ingredient is going to be water, but that doesn't mean it's water based, so don't be fooled. So now that I have it on my face, I'm going to go in with the Morphe M439 brush and just buff it out. It takes me a little bit longer to use this foundation and buff it out because it's, like I said, it's a little bit thicker. But for as well as it stays, that's fine. So it's going to cover the orange pretty well, but not enough just to leave it alone. So I will go in with a under eye concealer after I'm done. But I really like this brush because a lot of brushes leave streaks, especially if you don't use circular motions. But this brush, you could seriously start at the center of your face and drag it out and you're not going to have a line. Like, I really love this brush, and it is not expensive at all. Like, all the brushes I've got from Morphe, I'm extremely impressed with. They have not failed me yet. So I like to bring this down on my neck, and normally I will put foundation on my chest, but not today because I'm wearing a high neck top. But to do that, I don't like to use the thick foundation, so I will spray this Pure Cosmetics Liquid Veil in the shade Medium. It stinks really bad, but it just gives you that like really airbrushed look. So I will literally just like spray 2 or 3 sprays on my chest and use the same brush and just like buff it in. I really love it. I love to use it on my face, but not while it's still recovering from breaking out, because it's like a pretty sheer coverage, but I don't think it would cover what I need it to. So for the time being, I am using this other foundation, but I will go back and forth. I have a lot of foundations that I'll just use to use up, but a lot of them aren't my shade, so I'll use them on other people or what have you. But for right now, these two are my go-betweens. So after I do my foundation, I will go in and do my eyebrows. I'm going to use this NYX Micro Brow Pencil. This is supposed to be a dupe to the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I really can't tell the difference between the two. But I have a kind of crazy way of doing my eyebrows. As you can tell, I really don't have any. They're really shapeless and just not appealing. These are actually darker than they are naturally because I tinted them, which I can make a tutorial on how to do that later. I need to redo it. It makes doing eyebrows a lot easier. But basically, I'm going to draw the shape that I want. And this is kind of the cool thing about not having bold brows, is because I can do whatever I want. I can make them whatever shape I want. So, I mean, that's a positive note, I guess. But I'm going to use like really light strokes. I'm a very heavy-handed person, but it's really important to take it easy. Because 1, you don't need to be really heavy-handed, and 2, if you are, you will blow through this product so fast because you'll end up using a lot more than you need. So I'm trying to go for a really like high brow, not really high, but higher than mine because I have really small eyes. And I will do a little bit on each side at a time because I want them to be even. Which they'll never be even, they'll never be exactly the same. I've come to terms with that. Everyone should. They're sisters, not twins. So after I have the bottom line, I'm going to go and outline the top, and then I'll just fill them in. So I try to stay with the same, like I try to follow parallel to the bottom line, which doesn't always work. This is my stupid eyebrow. It doesn't ever do what I want. And I usually make them a little bit thicker than I actually want them to be in the end. But I'm going to go back and clean them up. It's going to be really scary looking whenever I look up and you see them after I fill them in. I will look like a man. This is harder to do whenever you're filming, so I feel like it should be easier when you're at home doing it yourself. And the reason I say it's harder is because, one, I know that there will be people watching this eventually, and two, I can't move my head a whole lot or you won't be able to see me. So this isn't how I would naturally sit to do my eyebrows. So after I do that, I'm just going to fill them in lightly, and then they don't have to be perfect. I won't really go back and scrutinize them until I go back in with concealer and do a much needed cleaning, because like I said, when I look up from this, it's going to be scary. And this isn't the only way you can do your brows. I have like several different ways I do my brows. Sometimes I use a stencil, sometimes I just use powder. It really just depends, but for the summer months, it's really, really, really hot where I live, so I like to use this pencil because it doesn't come off. And for extra staying power, I'm actually going to go in with a pomade that I really like. So just keep working and get, for the most part, all of it filled in. So now that I look like a man, I'm going to go in with concealer. I'm just going to use this Glamouflage by Hard Candy. I don't have a super good concealer right now because everything I have is really light because I used to be really pale, as of a couple months ago before I started tanning. So I'm just going to use this. You don't need a whole lot, like seriously, not a lot. Apply as little product as possible along your brows because when you put it on the brush, it'll make like a line right above your brows, which is fine, but it's hard to blend out. I guess it depends on what kind of concealer you use. If you use a really thin concealer, then it might be easier, but this is kind of thicker in a way, but it still works okay. So to clean up my brows, I'm actually using this brush by e.l.f. I think it's their shader brush, but it was like $1 or $2 at Target, and it has worked amazing because the bristles are short, so you have a lot of precision in where you want your product to go. So I'm just going to start, and I'm going to clean up the underneath. And I always start with my bad eyebrow first. Because if I can get this one right, then, you know, I might be able to match them. In my face, I don't pay attention. I don't know if everyone's like this, but I have a tendency to raise my eyebrows a lot whenever I'm doing this, and then it ends up screwing it up because when I raise my eyebrows, this eyebrow makes a different shape than this one, so try not to make any facial expressions whenever you're doing this, because if you do and then you relax your face afterwards, you'll be able to tell the difference. So that shouldn't be hard for me because I have resting bitch face, so my face is always relaxed. I promise you, I am not mean. I just look like an asshole. I mean, I could be, but not really. but it's honest. I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I have that too, but no, seriously, ask anyone. The first time they ever saw me, I guess I gave off a really bad first impression. They said, oh, when I first met you, I thought you were a total bitch. I'm like, yeah, I hear that a lot, but then people change their minds, and it's okay. And after watching my first video I made, I was like, wow, I look really stuck up. And I roll my eyes a lot, but I don't know. I guess that's just a thing for me. Weird, but I promise I'm not mean. So the eyebrow doesn't have to be perfect. After you outline it, it just needs to be semi sort of what you're looking for. So then I will go in and do the other side. Like, you see the difference between them? Like, this one looks like a man and this one looks like, okay, still kind of manly, but it'll look okay after I have the rest of my makeup on. That's the problem. And if for ever some reason I don't wear like eye makeup or eyelashes or anything like that, I won't do a heavy brow. I will go significantly lighter than this, just because it really overpowers my face if I don't wear eye makeup but I have a strong brow. So that's just me. I mean, I know everyone's different, but I just really want to emphasize my brows because a lot of people have asked me, oh my god, how do you do your brows? Because I post before and after pictures when I don't have any makeup on and then a full face, and it's like, where did those come from? Like, I have seriously struggled with my eyebrows since I've gotten into makeup. So it's been several years. I've tried a whole bunch of things, and you know, you just have to play, experiment. And this is really hard because I can't move my head down how I want, because you won't be able to see. So they won't be exactly the same, but we will fix it. Okay, so don't worry about blending out your concealer. You just really need to look and see. I gotta move this mirror up. Look and see and make sure it's what you want, so you can be a little more precise. And when you're doing your eyebrows like this, I do suggest that you look at different angles, because when you're looking down at your brows and then you look up, or you look at a mirror that's further behind you, like there is a large mirror right behind my camera that I normally use whenever I'm getting ready, and I can't see it right now, so that's why I'm holding this mirror up. But do that, because if you get more views of your eyebrows, they can actually look different. So you may think they look like crap, but when you look up, like, they're actually fine. It doesn't make sense, but it does. So then I will kind of blend out my concealer, and I will try really, really hard not to, like, I don't know if you can see, but there's a slightly built up line right above my brows. You have to be really careful when you're blending that out, because if you don't, it'll just sink back into your eyebrow and then you won't have that clean line. See, like, I just kind of screwed it up, but we will fix it. And earlier I said something about how your beauty blender really sucks up your product, but I said that's not always a bad thing. This is what I'm talking about, because if I really just can't get it off, I will just go with my beauty blender and pounce and beat my face. This is like a workout. Not necessarily just doing my eyebrows, but like the whole thing. Especially if you use a beauty blender. Like, this is a great arm workout. So continue to scrutinize your eyebrows for the next 20 minutes until you fear that you're going to be late for work. This is what I do. Only I don't work, I actually go to school, but same thing. I get up in the morning and this is what takes me the longest of everything. You don't always have to be extremely nitpicky, but I am. And sometimes even more into my routine, I will go back and look at my eyebrows and be like, oh, that's awful, and I'll just fix it, and it's no big deal. So, for time's sake, I'm going to use another product. This is by ColourPop. This is their brow pomade. It is, I guess, supposed to be a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pomade. I really like this. I have the hardest time with the pomade, and everyone's like, oh, I love it. That's my favorite. That's all I use on my brows, and they look so natural, and I'm like, how? I don't get it. But I really like this. I'm not sure if it was the brush I was using or what. I don't know. But I like this product, and I'm going to use the Sigma Small Angle E65. I like Sigma brushes because you can get them in copper. I love copper. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit of product, literally a tiny bit of product, and I'm just going to like lay it on my brows, like patting it, almost like I would with a beauty blender. I'm not going to drag it because that's bad. I don't even know how to explain what would happen. Maybe I should make a video of bad things that can happen when you do your makeup. I mean, there's no right or wrong, but sometimes stuff just really doesn't work. Or there's a lot easier way to do things. I don't know. Good idea. So I'm just going to do this on the other side. This will just like really reinforce the tail of my brow. This stuff is waterproof, as is the Anastasia one. But since my eyebrows get really oily, like the end of my eyebrows is the first thing to go. So I like to use this just to really secure them. And then if I make a mistake with it, I can always go back in with my brush. It probably still has concealer on it, because you don't want to get a whole lot, and I can just really clean that up. Normally after I do my foundation and my eyebrows, I would go in with my concealer and start my highlight and contour, but for the eyeshadow I'm using today, it's actually a loose pearlized pigment, so I don't want to do my concealer yet because I don't want it to drop down on my face and ruin everything, so I will wait and do that afterwards. So to start my eyeshadow, I'm going to go in with this Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and I'll just use a little bit. This is not the full-size tube. I got this in the Too Faced Favorites kit. It was like $25. It had this, it had the Hangover Primer, and it had one of their melted lipsticks. I have one, I got two of those things. One of them came with the color Fig, and one came with Chihuahua. Chihuahua is my absolute favorite. It's like my version of my lips, but better. But it actually looks nothing like my lips because I look dead. My lips are purple and really, I don't know why. Like, I'm not sick, I just have discolored lips, so that is why I always wear lip color, because I look like I'm dead. So after you use this, which you need a primer. You need a primer. It will keep your eyeshadow on and it will keep it from creasing. I got hooked on this when I bought that Try It kit. I had been loyal to my Urban Decay Sin Primer, which they don't make Sin anymore. It's like a different version, but I think I read that it's like a lighter, less thick texture. I don't know. But that was my favorite because it kept everything on all day, but oh my god, it's so hard to get off. And it was like a really shimmery primer, so if you wanted to wear a matte eyeshadow, like, good luck getting it to stay matte because that stuff was so shimmery. So after you prime it, then you can go in right after with your eyeshadow. I guess I'm going to do a cut crease today because I posted a picture and everyone was like, oh, I love your eyeshadow, I want to see a video, and so here I am. But for my crease colors, and I always start out with my crease no matter what kind of eyeshadow I'm doing, just because it's easier and it makes it look more blended and you don't have a harsh line, which a cut crease has a harsh line, but I mean above, if that makes sense. So I'm going to use this Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I love this palette. Oh my god, I love it. It's so, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it's so pretty. Look at this. That is so beautiful. And I'm like, okay, eyeshadow is eyeshadow. But I bought this and I used it the day that I got it. Just took it home and played with it, and they're so blendable and so, like, buttery. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And the color payoff is great, and the brush that came with it, wherever it is. Oh, right here. This brush, it's dual-ended, so there's like a fluffy side, and then there's a shader side. I like it. Like, I could probably do a whole look with just this brush, but I'll make it complicated and use other ones. So you should always start with your lightest color first because you want it to be like a gradient effect. Like, you don't want a harsh line, so it makes sense to use the lightest one because that's what you want to be able to see, then, you know, get darker as you go down. I'm going to be using, for my first color, I'm going to be using this brush by NYX. It doesn't have a number. I'm not sure if you can order it, just this brush. I got it for free because I ordered like 17 of their pigments, so they thought that they should give me this brush. But I'm going to use this because it's really fluffy and loose, so it's going to be the less precise color application, so it's going to be more all over. So I really like that because this is my lightest color and I want it to take up more of the lid, and you'll see what I mean. But I'm going to start with the lightest color, so I'm going to go in with this color. So I'm just going to lightly tap it, and then I'm going to dust it all over my crease. And you're just going to go back and forth like windshield wipers. So for time's sake, I'm going to go in and just do one eye, and then I'll go back and do my other eye, so you don't have to watch me do both. So for the next color, I'm going to be using the Sigma Diffused Crease E38 brush. It's essentially very similar to the other brush, but it's more dense. So then I'm going to go in with the color Warm Taupe. And again, just windshield wipers, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's kind of tedious, but when you get done, the end result is really worth it. And the more you get used to this, like, the less bothersome it is. Now, if I was in a hurry or this was like my everyday routine, I wouldn't do something this complicated because this process does take a little bit longer, I would just do something more simple. But for today, and I have time, I'm going to do this. So the next I will go in with this Morphe brush. It doesn't have a number. It's just like the other brushes I've been using, but they all blend out a little bit differently based on like how many fibers they have and you know how dense they are. So I actually got this. This is part of the kit. It's like the 18-piece vegan. It came in like a clutch carrier. I really like all the brushes in this. If they still have the kit, I would definitely recommend it. If they do have it, I will link it. So I'm going to go in with this color, Raw Sienna. And just put that in. And if anything's too harsh, like just get a plain brush or wipe out the excess shadow and just really blend it out. Morphe has a really good brush for blending it out. I think it's the M433. That's a super good brush for blending out if you ever have a harsh line. It will get rid of it. So you see how it's like lighter up here and then it gets darker. Like that's what you want, and that's why you should start with the lightest color first and not the darkest. So just to make sure everything is super blended out, I would go in with the Morphe M433 that I was talking about. And blend, blend, blend. Now it's cut crease time. So to do this and get the color like really not well bold and they're actually like be able to tell if there's a line, I'm gonna go back in with that brush I used for my eyebrows, the e.l.f. brush, and just take some concealer. I already have some on my hand. This is actually left over from my eyebrows. And this is kind of challenging because I have hooded eyes and I have small eyes on top of that, so being able to do a cut crease is kind of a pain. So like what I'll do to make it most natural is I will like look down like this and I will make like a map, so to speak. Like I will put right, like you see the natural crease in my eye, and then there's the rest of my eyelid up here. I will mark like right above my crease, and I'll just make a landmark of where I'm gonna cut out with concealer. So then see where when I close my eyes, you can tell. So I'll do that, and then I will just paint on my concealer with this brush. You want to be really precise because if you get concealer where you don't want it to be, you know, it's kind of a pain to fix, especially since the crease color is more diffused. I mean, it can be fixed, but it's more of a pain to do so, so I would just suggest being really careful. So I'm going to paint this on my lid. I would use a thinner concealer. This is pretty thick. It will do the job, but again, it's thick and it's kind of hard to blend out on the eyelid, which you don't really want to blend it out because you don't have a lot of product, so it's not like you need to, you know, rub it in or anything. But I will take my beauty blender and I will just kind of soak up some of the excess, and then I'm going to set it with a powder. That way it won't crease. So I'm just going to take a loose-ended brush. I'm actually going to use the Anastasia brush that came with the palette. And I'm just going to use the color Tempera. And just put it over there so it won't crease. So for the lid color, I'm going to be using these NYX Ultra Pearl Mania. See that? So I will use these. These are like a loose pigment. to help with the fallout on my face, since I don't have shadow shields, I'm going to improvise, and I will take one of these cosmetic cotton rounds and I will just fold it in half and like put it under my eye and hold it like that while I apply my color. These are pretty pigmented, but they are a lot better if you use a similar eyeshadow color behind it to kind of like add extra oomph. So I'm just going to use this red color here and just like put it on the lid, and then I'll go back in with these. Again, I'm going to use the Anastasia brush. I'm going to use the little end and just put it on. It's not going to be super heavy, just so you have some color. I mean, you want it to be even for the most part. I mean, you don't want like a super dark spot and then no product. You want it to be pretty consistent, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So that should suffice. To put this powder on, I'm going to just use this Morphe brush. It came in that kit, so it doesn't have a number, but it's just a really like small, fine tipped brush. It works really well, pretty good on. So I'm going to start with I have 3 colors, and I don't know what they're called because I ripped the sticky part of it off that sealed the lid on, and it actually had the name of the color, so I have no idea, but I can link the actual product, but I have no idea what color it is. But they were like $2 each, so I just ordered most of the colors, so it wasn't a big deal. I think I ordered like 16 or 17 of them, so it's less than $40, and they'll last a long time, so that's pretty cool. But I will just dip it in there, and I just have product on there. So I will fold this in half. And since this is my darkest color, I'm going to start on the outside. So I'm just going to pat that on. And I'm going to stay where the line is. I don't want to go into the crease. So then I'll go in with my next color, which is the medium shade. Again, I don't know what it's called, I'm sorry. This looks kind of pink, so I don't know. A lot of them are very similar. So again, I'll put my shield up, my makeshift shield. Oh, that is kind of pink. I don't think that's what I meant to do, but it'll be alright. I'll work with it. That's why I like to wear this, or not wear, but put this thing under my eyes, because you see all that product in my eyelashes. That would be on my face after I blink and open my eyes, so this really just helps cut down on paint. I really like this color that I just put on. It's a lot sparkly, a lot more sparkly than the other ones. Pretty. So for the last one, I'll go in with the lightest color. This is like a rusty gold. I don't know. I can't describe it, but it's the lightest of the 3 colors that I picked out. So I'll go and do the inner. That's super gold. I have to be careful with the inner corner of my eye, because since my eyes are shaped weird, it can look funny, so just adjust it accordingly to your eye shape. So like, that's okay for me right now. If you wanted to, you could go back in and add like another shade in here. Like this is really coppery, rusty colors, and this is still too taupey because I used the shade Warm Taupe. So I'll just go back in with this shader crease E47 by Sigma. It's like a thin, it's like made to pack on darker colors in the crease. I will add one of these like reddish colors. I think I will go in with Venetian Red. And just put some on the brush, and I'll just like pack it on. I will blend it out carefully. I don't want to move the glitter around a whole lot. And you don't have to use more than one color glitter. You can use just one. Like yesterday I did a cut crease like this and I used turquoise glitter and it was really pretty. I got a lot of compliments on it. But since I did that yesterday, I decided to do this color today. Plus it goes more with the colors in this palette. So I'm just going to like really lightly blend it out because like I said, I don't want to move the glitter around a whole lot. I went back and finished my other eye, and now I'm going to go ahead and do my concealer. That way I can like drag it up and really clean this mess up. So there is a method to my sporadic madness. So for my concealer, I'm going to use this Morphe concealer in the shade Oats. These feel like velvet on your skin. I really like them. And they're really not expensive. I think they're $4.99. But they feel like amazing. It's like angels on your skin. So I will just put this all over, or I'm gonna highlight, and then to blend it out, I will use this Sigma 3D HD precision brush. It is like dual-sided, super cool. So I really like this brush. I have there's like a bigger version. It's the 3D HD Kabuki brush. It's for foundation and stuff. I have that brush too, and I really like it. It's bigger, so it's harder to get into these contours. So if you were just going to buy one of them, like if you were on a budget and you could only have one, I would get this little one. Because it literally does the same exact thing. And you really could use it for your whole face. It would just take a little bit longer. But I'm going to use this and blend this out. This is so much easier than using a beauty blender for this. Because I get so tired of tapping my face. And plus with this, I can just take my brush and like drag it up here all the way to my temple, and it'll really clean up that eyeshadow. So if you get a little messy on the side, no worries. So this brush was I think it was around $20. That's really not bad, and Sigma offers a 2-year warranty on all their brushes, so I mean, I really don't think this is gonna fail. I haven't had a fiber fall out yet, and I've been using it for a while. So it's really good. It's really soft, and again, you can get them in copper, and you really can't go wrong with that. I love gold. That's my favorite. Obviously, my eyeshadow is gold. Everything in my life is gold, pretty much. Oh, the hair in my eye. But I really like this brush because it doesn't leave it streaky, like a lot of brushes do. Especially if you drag it, like I'm doing now. But I really like to go back in with the concealer because I like to finish covering the orange color correcting that I put on earlier. And just really, really make sure there's nothing dull under my eyes or anything crazy. Just make sure that you get everything out of your nose. I get a lot of product caught in here. It's not cute. And make sure you blend it all over your mustache. Good. I need to get rid of mine. Oh, it hurts so bad. So I learned this new trick and I'm super excited about it. I just remembered. After you do your foundation and all your cream stuff, spray your face with makeup setting spray, which I will do at the very end after I'm completely done with everything. But for now, spray it. I'll just go in with this NYX matte finish. Just spray it and like let it set to where it's almost dry but not quite. Okay, so wait till it's like almost dry but not completely. And just take your beauty blender and like, I know I complain about this being tedious, but this trick's pretty cool. Just pounce all over your face and this will really like set everything in. I have a really hairy face. Like especially like everywhere. Like my cheeks, I have a lot of peach fuzz. So this will like really set everything in and like push those hairs and just make sure that everything is one. I've been doing this. I learned this a couple, I don't know, maybe like a week ago. But I've been doing it ever since I found out, or not found out, but heard about the tip. And I think it's made a pretty big difference in the longevity of my foundation. I did this even before I switched a couple days ago to that Pro Matte foundation. But I really like this tip. Like it really helps because a lot of my makeup gets caught in all that peach fuzz and you, like, oh, it's just bad. Now that that's done, I will go in and contour. I have so many palettes, so today I'm just going to use the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I'm going to go in with this Morphe M438 brush. It's a tapered brush. It's really soft. So I'm going to go in with this this paler shade and the banana shade. And I'm just going to like get some of both. And I'm just going to tap it under my eye. Just to make sure that this stuff doesn't go anywhere. And on top of this, I'm going to bake it soon, so it's not going nowhere. So I will do this and I will just tap, 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 tap. Don't drag, don't drag, don't drag. Especially for me, because the more I drag products, the more it'll actually pull off the product that I already have. Like if I took this and I just started dragging this, it would essentially take off all of the foundation and concealer I have on and you'd be able to see my red crappy skin underneath, and we don't want that. So personally for me, I'm not a dragger. If I ever do make sweeping motions, it's really light-handed. But for this, it's just easier to tap it on. After I go over all the areas I applied concealer with that powder, I will go in and use my contour shades. I'll actually end up using all three of these, but first I'm going to use the lightest shade and then build up. So I'm going to start with this first shade here. They're not named, so I'm just going to point. Oh, they are named. I lied. Oh my god. Okay, so I guess I'm going to use Sombre. Damn, learning something new every day. Alright, so I'm just going to take it, and I just said I don't sweep anything, but I'm doing it really light-handed right now. So I'm just going to sweep this on my face. And you really can't tell a whole lot where it is right now. That's fine, because we're going to build it up. So I'll just keep doing it. I'll do it all up here on my forehead or my scalp. Don't shave your forehead. And I don't need to contour my forehead a whole lot because it's still small. It was extra small before I shaved all this off, but whatever. So I also need to contour my nose. I'm going to use another Morphe brush, unnumbered. It came in that kit. It comes in handy. Again, I'm going to use that shade Sombre, I guess. Or is it backwards? Is it subconscious? Or is it Sombre? I don't know. It's a mystery. So anyways, I'm going to go in with this shade. And I will just dust the edge of my nose. I don't have a huge nose, but it's really, like, straight. I hate it. I'm gonna get a nose job. Someday. Okay, so now that I'm done with this shade, I'm gonna go in with the middle shade or shadow play. And again, I'm gonna use this first brush that I used, Morphe unnumbered, came in that kit, and I will just keep going on both sides. I'm not really worried about how far down I'm going or how clean the line is, because no matter what, it's gonna look really muddy, but we're gonna go back in and whenever we bake and make it sharp and clean. I'm also going to take this and go along my jawline, and I'm going to bring it up closer to my ear on this side because this side of my face is bigger than this side. I'm sure you already noticed, but I don't really know why, but it is. So I won't go as far back on this side because I don't want to make this side look a whole lot slimmer, because it already is slimmer than the other side. So I'll do that, and then I'm going to go under my jaw and get rid of 48 out of 50 of my chins. So just keep applying color until you have as many chins as you want. Or only have as many chins as you want. I don't know. So I'm not done fully adding color to my side, but I'm going to go ahead and start baking. To do that, I'm going to use my Laura Mercier loose translucent setting powder. I really like this powder, but I've heard there's cheaper and just as good, if not better, things. I know the RCMA powder, it's like 10 or 12 bucks, and it's supposed to be really good. This, oh my god, this was probably like $40. It's crazy, but I have it, so I'm gonna use it up. So I'm just gonna take this plain wedge. I think I got these at the Dollar Tree, honestly. I think there's like 30 of them in there. I was like, well, you can't beat that. So I'm just going to apply this again where I put my concealer earlier. Doesn't have to be super perfect. If you're wearing the clothes that you plan on wearing for the day, I wouldn't put a whole lot of powder on this sponge. I would do it small amounts at a time because I just dropped a bunch of powder on me. And I'll put it especially in places that I get oily, so I'm going to add some extra right around my nose. I'm going to go and I will make a line where I want my contour to end. So everything that I've learned about makeup, like, this is probably the best thing ever, because like I can't just put on my contour with a brush and it just be perfect as it is there. Like, it look, no matter if I use powder or cream or whatever, it just looks really like muddy. So I really love this trick because you can clean it up and it'll look super sharp, and you don't have to worry about it looking bad. So I like to do this portion before I go in and add my darker color, because I don't want the darker color to show through. So now that I have my line of where I want my contour to end, for sure I will go in with that brush again and I will just like lightly buff it on here, and then I can really blend it out later. But that's why I wait, and plus I do this in this step in my process because while I'm waiting for this to set, I will go ahead and put on my eyelashes and my eyeliner and finish that up. So now that I have that done, I will go ahead and go in with the darker color. So again, I'm going to use this, the Morphe brush I used earlier, and I'll go in with the darkest shade. And I will just use a tiny bit. I just really go in. I'm going to make sure that I don't knock off the powder that I just used. Because that would defeat the purpose. You could do all these steps, but again, since this powder is darker, I'm not sure how this translucent powder would work as far as like making the line super sharp, like if it would cover it. Because you'll see when I take this powder off, like, you'll be able to see the line. It won't be like super sharp, but it could still cut a bitch. I went ahead and put my eyelashes on. I tried to film it, but it didn't work out so well. But I will continue my bottom lash routine. So I will go back with my Modern Renaissance palette, and I will take the brush that came with it, and I'll use the small end. I'm going to go in with the shade Love Letter, and I will just apply it under my lash line. I don't know why every time I put something under my eyes I open my mouth and I look stupid, I know. But I can't help it. So I really wanted to film my eyelashes, but oh my god, that was a feat. I didn't know if we were even going to make it today. So after that, I will put on my eyeliner. I'm using this ColourPop Cream Gel Liner. I really like it. It's really cheap. Love this brand. Love, 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 love. I can't say enough. Like, for what you get and for the price, it's amazing. Like, I seriously hope it's this friendly as far as cost forever. I know a lot of times things get popular and they get expensive, but I can pray. I really like this eyeliner though because it stays on like all day and it won't come off, and it doesn't make, I have pretty sensitive eyes and they water, and it doesn't make my eyes water or anything. So last, I will put on mascara. I'm using this Rimmel London Lash Accelerator. It's supposed to have this stuff in it that makes your eyelashes grow, but I've been using it for a long time and I really haven't noticed anything. So I can't say much about that. I mean, maybe I just don't notice, because I look at myself every day, but the reason I use this is because the wand is really small. Like, I have a hard time not getting mascara all underneath my eyes. When I used to do my bottom mascara first. Like, that was the very first thing I did in my makeup routine, so I could go in with makeup remover and clean it up. But I've gotten a little bit better. Now if I get anything on it, it's so minute that I can just remove it with a Q-tip. But before, it was like, oh my god. These eyelashes look like spider legs. It's kind of weird. Now that that's done, I will go ahead and take off all this excess powder on my face. I'm just going to use like a loose brush. So I will just dust it away. And then here, you can see it like really significantly helped how murky it looked before. Like, it looks pretty sharp. It looks sharper right now on camera than it does in real life, but that's okay. So again, with this same brush, I will kind of go out and like just really blend it all together, and I will try to keep from going underneath the contour. I will try to stay right at it and go above, like up at an angle. So now that I have all the powder off, I will put blush on. I'm going to use blush from this Becca Jaclyn Hill palette. I love it. I love it. So I bought the full-size champagne pop when I first saw it at Sephora a couple weeks ago, and then I went in the other day and I saw this and it said limited edition, and I was like, oh, limited edition, I have to buy it. Seriously, if they put limited edition on everything, I would be in big trouble. So, anyways, I love these blushes. They're so pretty. Like, I love all of them. So I will use this Morphe brush. Again, it came in that kit that I keep talking about. It's just an angled brush, and I think I will use the first one. I think it's called Rose Spritz. Yeah, Rose Spritz. So again, I will just tap it on here, and then I will go like right above my contour and just sweep it on. Then I will go in with my Morphe M501 brush. It's just like the brush that I showed you earlier, which was the 438. But it is a baby one. So I'm going to go in with the, what is it? Prosecco? Am I saying that right? I think so. Prosecco Pop. And I will just rub it on there and dust it on. Again, I'm light-handing it. I like to really glow, so I'm going to use more highlighters than this. But whatever you feel glowy enough, and then that's fine. You really don't even have to use highlighter, but I like highlighter. It's so pretty. So after that, I will go in with the Anastasia Glow Kit in Sun Dipped. They said this was limited edition too, so I had to buy it. Now if the other ones are limited edition, then I'll have to buy that too. So I really like all these colors. They're a lot warmer, so this was like definitely a summery or tan skinned palette. But I really like these two shades. I like bronze and I like tourmaline. So I'm going to go with tourmaline. And you can actually use these wet. You can use any highlighter wet. But it still does just as well when it's dry. So I'll go in with that. And I will do the top of my cheekbone. I won't drag it down here by my nose because I'm going to get really oily and I don't want to add to that. Because that's gross. I will go ahead and highlight my chin. It is going to get oily. But, I mean, that'll be a couple hours, so until then, it's good. And then this bronze shade is actually pretty bronzy. So I'm going to go in with that brush that I used to contour, and I'm going to take some of the bronzed color, and I'll go over my contour. So everything's nice and sparkly. And then I will go back with the brush that I used to take off all my baking stuff, and I'm just going to kind of go over everything and make sure it blends. That way I don't have a distinct, you know, line. So if you blend everything out, you should look like a box of Neapolitan ice cream. You should have chocolate, then strawberry, and then vanilla. That's what I always think of it as. I mean, you should look like a box, but yeah. So I also will take one of these colors. Usually I'll take Summer or Moonstone, and I'll just take this brush. I got it out of the, I think this came with the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette. Anyways, I'll just use this fluffy end. You can use any brush. It doesn't matter. But today I'm going to take it and I'm going to use Moonstone. And I'm just going to highlight the inner corner of my eyes. And I will do my brow bone too. Just so it's super beamy, glowy, summery. And then I will, since this brush is a lot smaller and precise, I will go back and I will do my nose and do my Cupid's bow more. Then I'll put on lipstick. I'm going to use this Meet Matte Hues by The Balm. This is broken. I dropped it the first day I got it. But I broke off the top and I scooped everything out and put it into a container so I can put on with the lip brush. So for now I'm just using it out of here to get the rest of the product out. But this is the color Charming. I really love this lipstick because it's super matte, and I think it has peppermint oil or something in it, so it makes your lips feel kind of tingly and like more plump. I don't know if it looks bigger, but it's just so smooth. So I don't line my lips because I don't really feel like I need to when I use liquid lipstick. Now if I was using regular, then yeah. But for this you really don't need to unless you plan on overlining. So now on to the last and final step. Thank God. Just set it. with a setting spray, I'm going to use Model in a Bottle makeup setting spray. I got this on the Morphe website under their brands tab. I'm sure they have their own website, and I need to get it on other websites like CameraReadyCosmetics.com. So there's more than one place to get it, but I really like it because it feels like you have a shield on your face, but it doesn't feel like it's not really thick or tacky or anything. I feel like it really does help keep your makeup in place, but I really like it, and it's only $20. It is cheaper than all the Urban Decay makeup setting sprays. The only thing is, it really burns your eyes. So you need to wait a couple of seconds before opening your eyes, because it'll burn like hell. So just let it dry. I think it says on the bottle too to wait. So they gave me a warning, but I didn't listen. So this is the final look. I hope you guys like it. I will link everything that I used down below. Let me know if you have any questions, and please subscribe.